Now, Nicola Sturgeon's husband, Peter Murrell, has been charged by police in connection with the embezzlement of SNP funds. The party's former chief executive was taken into custody as part of an investigation into the funding and finances of the Scottish National Party. Well, in the last few moments, the former First Minister has broken her silence. She described the last 24 hours as incredibly difficult.
You don't say. And we are still joined in the studio by Dr. Renee Hoenderkamp, NHS GP and broadcaster. Look, I mean, the only discussion now is, if you remember the chronology way back when this police investigation first started unfolding, and as they put the tent on the front lawn. Now, Murrell was taken by the police for a long interrogation first.
Released without
and Nicola stood on the lawn saying, "Oh, it's incredibly difficult," but we will cooperate all the way. And then about 2 weeks later, I seem to recall, she had her collar felt and she spent the day in jail. So it wouldn't be illogical to conclude that if he's being charged today, Nicola could be next. I mean, she can hardly say she knew if embezzlement has happened of £600,000 of SNP party funds. Also, there's this rather dodgy £110,000 motorhome. Quite why the SNP would have needed a camper van is a moot point. But how can she say, "I knew nothing about any of this"? Because that's the only way she can get off of this. And she was the leader of the party. He was the chief executive of the party, and they happened to be married. So her saying, "Sorry, don't know anything about this, Gov," not really going to play, is it? So the speculation is that she will be next to be charged.
Yeah, so I get that, and I get everything you say, and I think she won't be able to say that she didn't know anything about it, because it was her job to know everything about what was going on within the party. But I think, as we said in the break, they're finished anyway now. They're finished as a political force in Scotland. And I think, for me, what this does for the everyday person sitting at home is it just reinforces that politics is bad to the core. We've got Labour with their Angela Rayner business. We've got the Tories with their latest sleaze. We've now got Scotland with their SNP troubles. And the message that's on our screens every single day and in our papers is all of our politicians are absolutely corrupt and we need to drain that swamp.
Where have I heard that before?
But I mean, it probably is important. At one point, Nicola Sturgeon was the absolute darling, wasn't she? She sneezed and she'd be on television while no one could even name that old geezer who used to run Wales. But the thing is about Nicola Sturgeon is she did get away. She did used to get away with a lot. She was sort of beatified and venerated. And I think there'll be plenty of people out there almost hoping and willing that she's dragged in and charged.
Yes, I think so. And I think it's almost a Jacinda Ardern situation, isn't it? That when you run with a rod of iron and you stand up so authoritatively and you state the rules and you never deviate because you're right, as she did, making decisions which affected people's lives to the point where, you know, people were absolutely debilitated in having a normal life, then yes, of course, there are going to be many people that want to see her downfall. I would imagine many politicians in London would like to see her downfall, and they'd like to see the distraction light as well that comes off of them and onto Nicola. So I think this is probably a blessing in disguise to many people.
We should stress, of course, that both Mr Murrell and Nicola Sturgeon deny that they've done anything wrong. As I say, I do think the police will want to talk to Nicola fairly soon. And as we were just saying off air, the trouble with what happened in Scotland is Nicola Sturgeon came to rule that country like her own personal fiefdom, obviously with the assistance of her husband, Peter Murrell. Power corrupts. I think she lost track of where her power stopped, and probably or arguably overstepped the mark. I mean, she did become more, as you say, Renee, more and more authoritarian with her crazy left-wing laws. You know, let's put this double rapist into a female prison, and so on and so forth. So she lost track. She lost the plot, frankly.
She did lose the plot, and I think absolutely, power, as you said, power corrupts. And in the end, every single day that goes by where you're allowed to get away with one more authoritarian step, you just become convinced that you're invincible and nothing matters anymore. And you lose sight of the people that what you're saying and doing affects. And I think that happened, and we watched it happening.